Everyone says they want to be smarter. They dream of being called a genius, of having a mind so sharp that people stand in awe. But the truth is far darker. Real intelligence does not bring applause. It brings exile. The truly sharp mind doesn't fit in. It cuts too deep, sees too much, notices what others can't even admit to themselves. And once you see those patterns, once you carry that kind of brain, you can never go back to normal. You will not belong with them. You will stand apart, feared, envied, and hated. This brain training will take you to that point. It will make you smarter than any genius alive, but it may twist you into something no ordinary person can live beside. Step 1. Mental isolation drill. This is where the training starts. It looks simple, but it is not. Every day for 20 minutes, you will put yourself alone with one question. Just one. No phone, no music, no books, no distractions. Only you, a paper, and a pen. That's it. You sit down in the same spot every day. Same chair, same light, same time if possible. This is important. The brain learns by repetition, so the place itself becomes a signal. Now we go deep. Think of it as a ritual. At the top of the paper, you write one question. For example, why do I always lose focus after 10 minutes? Why do I fear speaking in front of people? What actually controls human desire? The question should not be fluffy like, what is happiness? It must be sharp, specific, and personal, something that bothers you or something you want to master. Then the drill begins. You read the question out loud, you stare at it, then you start writing every answer that comes to your mind. The first answers will always be weak, obvious things you've heard before. Don't stop there. You push deeper by asking one word again and again. Why? Write an answer, then ask, why is that true? Then answer again. Then ask why. Keep drilling. If you keep going, the surface will break. Your brain will start to panic. It will get uncomfortable. You'll think, this is useless. That's the moment most people quit. That's the test. You don't stop. You keep attacking the question. Soon new thoughts will appear, connections you never saw before. A hidden fear, a forgotten memory, a strange idea. That's the gold you're digging for. At the end of the session, you write one paragraph, a summary of the most powerful thing you discovered in those 20 minutes. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to capture the insight. This is the seed you carry into tomorrow. Do this every day for 30 days. The first week will feel boring. The second week will feel uncomfortable. By the third week, something changes. Your brain will start to do it automatically. You'll notice you can strip any problem down faster than other people. You'll stop accepting easy answers. You'll see the cracks in people's beliefs. By day 30, you will have trained your mind to attack reality instead of just floating on the surface. Example. Imagine your question is, why do I freeze under pressure? Your first answer, because I'm scared. Okay, why scared? Because people will judge me. Why does judgment matter? Because I think silence means I failed. What if silence doesn't mean failure? Then maybe fear collapses. And suddenly you realize it wasn't the pressure, it was your interpretation of silence. That's one breakthrough in just a few minutes. Now think about 30 days of this. 30 questions, 30 breakthroughs, and even more important, the habit of thinking like this becomes permanent. Your brain becomes trained to cut through excuses, illusions, and lies. But be careful. This drill can change the way you see yourself and others. You may uncover truths that are uncomfortable. You may realize you've been living by assumptions that collapse under inspection. You may feel disturbed by what you write down. That's normal. Intelligence is not born in comfort. It's born in discomfort. If it feels heavy, you're doing it right. The danger is stopping halfway. If you stop when the answers get uncomfortable, the drill becomes useless. You've just proven to your brain that it can run away from truth. So push past the wall every single time. Some people will ask, why only one question per day? Because focus is the weapon. The world trains you to scatter your thoughts across 1,000 things. This drill trains you to pierce one thing with total force. That single ability, to hold one question until it cracks, is what separates ordinary thinkers from dangerous minds. By the end of this step, your thoughts will feel sharper, heavier, more structured. And when you talk to people, you will notice something new. Their answers sound shallow. You'll hear the holes in their logic. You'll see where they stop asking why, and you'll realize they can't follow you anymore. You've stepped into a different level of thinking. That is the first step of the brain training. It doesn't give you knowledge. It gives you a weapon, the weapon of ruthless focus. Step 2. Information weaponization. Most people consume information like entertainment. They scroll, they read, they watch, and they forget. Knowledge goes in one ear, gets lost in the fog of the brain, and never returns. That is why most people, even after years of reading and studying, cannot use what they know. Their memory is a graveyard of wasted facts. You will not be like them. From this step onward, you will train your brain to treat every single piece of information as a weapon. You will not read for comfort. You will not watch for fun. You will not listen just to pass time. You will take everything you see, hear, or read and force it into a tool you can use. How it works. Let's say you're reading a book. The average man highlights a nice quote, feels smart, and then forgets it forever. You will not do this. Instead, the moment you find something that catches your attention, a fact, a line, an idea, you stop. You ask, how can this be used? Could this line be used to persuade someone? Could this fact disarm an enemy? Could this principle give me leverage in a negotiation? Could it break someone's confidence? Could it inspire loyalty? Could it predict human behavior? You write it down, but not as a note. You write it down as a weapon. Example. You read a line from Machiavelli about fear being more reliable than love. You don't just admire it. You write, weapon. In conflict, remind myself. People fear losing more than they desire winning. Use this to control outcomes. Every single day you aim for at least 3 weapons. They can come from anywhere. A book, a YouTube video, a conversation, a news article. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you immediately convert it. If you don't, it will fade like smoke. At the end of the week, you will have 20 or more weapons in your notebook. Some will be small, like a phrase that shuts down a critic. Some will be large, like a principle that explains human motivation. You keep these. You organize them. You review them. Soon, you will have an arsenal. Why it matters. The average person forgets almost everything they read, but you will carry hundreds of psychological blades in your pocket. When someone argues with you, you can pull out a principle you trained. When someone tries to manipulate you, you'll recognize the trick instantly because you studied it and turned it into your own counterweapon. There's another layer to this. When you weaponize information, you stop being passive. Most people float through conversations as receivers. They wait to be told something, then react. You will be the opposite. You will enter every interaction armed. People will feel it. They will sense that you are dangerous even if they cannot explain why. But here's the warning. The more you do this, the colder you will become. Why? Because you stop seeing information as beautiful or interesting. You stop being a spectator. You start treating every word, every detail, every person as either a tool or a weapon. And when you live like this, you gain control but you also lose innocence. Some people will look at you and feel you are calculating, manipulative, dangerous, and they will be right. That is the trade. The average person is warm but powerless. The trained person is powerful but cold. You must decide which one you want to be. The drill. For the next 30 days, carry a small notebook or use a single document on your phone. Every day, capture 3 pieces of information and weaponize them. At the end of the week, review them. Out of the 20, pick the 3 strongest and imagine how you would use them in real life. Play out the scenario in your mind. Write the script. Do this long enough and something strange happens. You'll start to predict the moves of others. You'll know what they'll say before they say it, because you already have the counterweapon ready. This is when your intelligence stops being knowledge and starts being power. Step 2 is simple to describe but hard to practice. Most people can't do it. They're too lazy. They think reading and feeling smart is enough. That's why they remain weak. But you are turning your mind into an armory. And when the moment comes, when life throws you into conflict, you will not freeze. You will reach into your arsenal and pull out the exact tool you need. This is the second step of the brain training. Never again read without turning words into weapons. Never again listen without turning sound into strategy. From now on, everything feeds the arsenal. And remember, the one with the most weapons of thought does not lose. He only chooses when to strike. Step 3. Pattern obsession. At this stage, you stop looking at the world like everyone else. Most people see random events, random faces, random words. You will train yourself to see patterns, repeated loops, hidden codes, the things beneath the surface that guide human behavior. Once you see them, you can predict what people will do before they even know it themselves. Step 3. Pattern obsession. At this stage, you stop looking at the world like everyone else. Most people see random events, random faces, random words. You will train yourself to see patterns, repeated loops, hidden codes, the things beneath the surface that guide human behavior. Once you see them, you can predict what people will do before they even know it themselves. The truth about people. Human beings are not as complicated as they think. We all repeat. The way someone laughs, the word they use when nervous, the way their eyes move when they lie. These are all signals. But the untrained mind ignores them. The trained mind collects them. The drill. This drill is simple. You observe. Every single day, choose one environment to watch. A bus ride, a cafe, your workplace, a family dinner. You sit quietly, and instead of joining in, you watch, you listen, you make notes. At first it feels strange, you'll feel restless, but then you'll begin to notice. The man tapping his foot every time silence falls. The woman who always repeats a phrase before she agrees. The friend who laughs too quickly after speaking, as if begging for approval. These patterns are invisible to them but clear to you. When you see a pattern, you write it down, not as "she was nervous." No, you write it as signal, repeated word, nervous loop. You name it, you record it, you build a dictionary of human codes, and slowly the world stops being chaos. It becomes predictable. What happens next? Do this long enough, and something will shift. A person will begin a sentence, and before they finish, you'll know how it ends. Someone will move their hand, and you'll know their next reaction. You will feel almost supernatural, but it's not magic. It's raw attention sharpened into a blade. The purpose is not to judge people. The purpose is to understand them deeper than they understand themselves. And once you do, you control the interaction. You can anticipate weakness. You can amplify strength. You can push. You can pull. You can decide the outcome. That is power. The cost. But again, there is a cost. Once you see these loops, it becomes hard to unsee them. You will notice that most people are just running scripts, predictable little machines. They think they are free, but they are repeating patterns like actors stuck in a role. This realization can make you detached. You may feel you can't relate anymore. You may feel like you're surrounded by puppets. This is the loneliness of intelligence. Still, this is the third step of your brain training. Every day you must collect at least one pattern. After 30 days, you will have 30 human codes written down. With practice, you will not just see people, you will read them like open books. And when people realize you understand them in ways they cannot even describe, they will fear you. Some will admire you. Some will avoid you. But all will feel your presence. Remember, this once you can predict, you can control. And once you can control, you will never be the same again. Step 4. Thought war drill. This step is where your mind becomes dangerous. Until now, you've trained to isolate questions, weaponize information, and see patterns. But here, you will learn to split your thinking into two blades and fight against yourself. This is where ordinary intelligence stops, and dangerous intelligence begins. The problem with most minds. Most people only think one way. They believe something, and they defend it. They hate being wrong, so they protect their belief until they die. This is a weakness, because if you can only see one side, you are blind to half of reality. The thought war drill changes this. How it works. Once a week, you take two sides of a single idea and force your brain to argue both with equal strength. You pick a subject: truth versus lie, good versus evil, freedom versus control, emotion versus reason. Then you sit down, and for 20 minutes you defend one side with all your power. You write as if you are right. You give it everything. When the time is up, you stop. You switch. And for the next 20 minutes, you destroy what you just built. You argue the exact opposite with equal passion. The resistance. At first, this will feel wrong. Your brain will resist. You will think, I don't believe this side. That's the point. You are not training belief. You are training flexibility. You are breaking the chains that lock most people into one-sided thinking. The breakthrough. Do this drill correctly, and something frightening happens. You realize every truth can be attacked. Every lie can be defended. Every moral idea can be flipped upside down. Nothing is solid. Everything can be bent. This is terrifying for most people, but it is freedom for you. Because once you can see both sides clearly, you are no longer controlled by either. Real-life power. Think about what this gives you in real life. Someone argues with you. You already know both sides of the debate. Someone tries to manipulate you. You see the weak points in their reasoning instantly. Someone believes something with blind faith. You can dismantle it in minutes. This is the power of dual thinking. The cost. But beware. There is a cost. When you master this, your sense of certainty will begin to fade. The world will stop looking black and white. You'll realize most people live inside illusions, clinging to good and bad, true and false. But you will see that both sides are just masks. This can make you cold, even twisted, because while others cling to their beliefs for comfort, you see them all as tools. You can pick one, wear it, discard it, and move on. People will call you ruthless. They will say you have no morality. Maybe they're right. Or maybe you just see more than they can handle. The drill summary. The drill is simple, but it changes you deeply. Choose a subject. Argue one side for 20 minutes. Switch. Argue the other side for 20 minutes. At the end, write down the strongest point from each side. And ask yourself, if both are true in some way, what does that mean for reality? Do this once a week. That's all it takes. Over months, your mind will grow sharper, faster, colder. You will not only think, you will fight with yourself until your thinking becomes indestructible. Final transformation. This is the final step of the core training. After this, your brain will no longer function like the average mind. You will hold questions until they break. You will turn information into weapons. You will see patterns no one else sees. And you will split your thinking into two blades that can cut through anything. The final warning. But remember the warning, intelligence. This sharp is not safe. It makes you powerful, but it can also make you twisted, detached, untouchable. The choice is yours. Do you want to remain ordinary and safe? Or do you want to step into a level of thinking that could exile you from the comfort of the crowd forever?